Good morning, traders. How are we doing today? I hope everybody's doing very well. My name is Jason Krutzky. It is a pleasure to be with you this morning for another office hours session here at TrendSpider. It is what? Today's Wednesday, right? Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah. Okay. Today's Wednesday. Still suffering from food coma, perhaps, from last week. I don't know. How are you guys doing today? What are you guys watching? Do you guys have questions for me? I'm here to answer whatever questions you might have about the TrendSpider platform. So if you have questions, now is the time to get them answered live, direct, in person. We can talk about whatever you want. We can look at indicators that you're interested in. We can build scans for things that you might be looking for. We can look at the strategy tester and talk about some of the tools in the strategy tester. The world is your oyster. I am here at your service. While I await, actually, you know what? Also, there are a few of you here, so please say hello. Let me know who's here. Tell me your name. Tell me where you're tuning in from. Perhaps there are some of you that I know, and perhaps there are some of you that I don't. We try to do these office hour streams. We're going to start doing them a little bit more regularly. They seem to be helpful, and I enjoy doing them. So, yeah. In the meantime, while I await y'all's comments and questions, if you have them, I was going to turn you guys on really quickly to this cool new indicator that we have, per session volume by price. This is something that I have personally been on the hunt for. I've wanted this indicator for some time, and we finally have it. This is going to automatically paint volume by price or volume profile on top of each session's price action. What's up, why not? How are you today? Happy Thanksgiving to you also. Mine was quite nice. I live quite far away from pretty much all of my actual family, so I did not get to see any of my family, but I got to see some friends, which was great. What's up, Basel Batal? Hello, hope you're well. Nightbot, I don't know. Nightbot says questionable judgment. I don't think you were spamming, but yeah. So this is a pretty cool indicator, and you can access it. Let me hook you guys up with this. Yeah, sometimes it is better. You're right. Why not? What's going on? Why are you here today? Are you here for any particular reason? Did you have something you were curious about or wanted to learn more about? Doing good, Basil. How are you? So I just linked a blog post, and we could share it here so y'all could see it. To download this indicator, you can click this link right here. Or you can click this picture. It's going to open up this screen, click login and import, and you'll pretty much be off to the races. And then you can add this to your charts, and it's really helpful. You know, like I'm constantly using this. Previously, I was constantly using this sort of same analysis to understand where untested volume, or rather untested points of control and untested VWAPs from the previous sessions were. I find those to be pretty interesting, inflection points and places where you can kind of find some support. Like this is a really good example right here. Let me remove this guy. So you had a couple of days worth of points of control right here, and in theory they were untested. When we got this big gap up, they didn't test them the next day. But then the subsequent days, look where all these lows came into play. They came into play right at the points of control from the previous sessions that were untested. So can be a pretty powerful little tool to just kind of gauge where price might find some support resistance in future sessions. You can kind of gauge the strength of a move too using the upper and lower boundaries. These are the value area highs and lows. So where 75, or rather 70, at least 70% of the volume has taken place within the boundaries of these blue lines. So if price is able to push above the upper or lower boundaries, that can kind of sometimes tell you things about, you know, what to expect. You might have slightly overdone moves if price is able to push above, slightly overdone moves if price is able to push below. Also, though, these moves can signal trend reversals. So, you know, there's a lot of different ways you can use it, I guess. Been studying up on TrendSpider, need to decide on a long-term charting platform, and been on the fence. Well, how can we get you over the fence? Is my question. Why not? I would love to show you the things that you need to see to make that decision. I understand that there are pros and cons to each. So it's really a matter of, you know, what do you need? Are you focused on strategy testing? Are you focused simply on chart analysis, drawing trend lines and using indicators and stuff? Are you interested in scanning? You know, obviously they have a much more robust set of shared indicators, right? Like you can grab tons and tons of different indicators. We are actually about to release a marketplace for indicators. So we're hoping that developers will take the opportunity to start developing, because, you know, now you can share, you'll be able to share more easily. You'll be able to sell indicators if that's your bag. Still learning as a new trader, primarily trading the Strat and anchored VWAP strategies. Cool. Yeah. So, you know, obviously we have the Strat built in. We have the Strat indicator. So if you go to indicators and type in the Strat, you know what to type in the Strats right here. So this automatically labels all of the candlestick patterns on your chart for you. This labeling allows for being able to scan and strategy test and all that sort of stuff, the Strat patterns. Like we built, I don't know if you know Jermaine, but we actually built a strategy for Jermaine. I did a presentation with him for his group of traders, I don't know, maybe 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. Let me see if I can find it. Yeah, right here. No. Yeah, this was it. Can't remember what name we did this on. Maybe it was Apple. Let me see. Kind of think it was Apple. Yeah. So we managed to put together this strategy on Apple, utilizing just the Strat. So we were buying a 2 down 2 up reversal. We were selling the 3-1-2 down reversal. So bullish reversal long, bearish reversal short, and then we used some really basic stop loss, take profit, number of candles have passed, conditions, just to kind of, okay, you saw it. Okay, great, cool. Do you have this strategy on your end? Do you have a link to it? If you do, then I won't share it with you. But if you don't, I'm happy to share this with you so you can kind of play around with it. Kind of a cool little strategy. You know, the Strat folks, as I've come to understand it, are not wildly keen on strategy testing. And that's fine. You know, a lot of folks aren't. But Jermaine was not really, he didn't really understand that this could be done, that you could strategy test these things. You could strategy test these patterns. Now, it's not buying exactly when the Strat says to buy, right? A 2 down, 2 up, you're buying the second you get you're taking out the previous candle's high. Whereas we're having to wait for that 2 up to close as a 2 up to go long the next candle. But, you know, it's clear that you can create profitable strategies without following the exact rules. Now, also, though, why not? We have, let me find it. We haven't announced this yet. However, Give me 1 second. Here it is. So we've got this now. And this is pretty cool. So this is a full time frame continuity indicator. Let me see here. And let me... I have not played around with this at all. This is the first time I've touched this indicator. Okay, so let's do this. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so the way that this indicator works, pretty sweet. Let me go to the criteria. So it works on your lower time frames. So anything below the 30-minute. And what it does is it automatically paints full time frame continuity based off of your current time frame that you're on. So right now I'm on a 5-minute. So this is really for folks who are day trading, utilizing the Strat, and specifically full time frame continuity within the Strat. It is using your current time frame, and then it's looking at the 30-minute, the 60-minute, so the 30-minute, the hourly, and the 240. So 30, hourly, daily. And it automatically paints full time frame continuity based off of your time frames, based off of those 4 time frames. So right now we're in full time frame continuity down on the 5-minute, the 30-minute, the hourly, and the daily. That's what this is telling us. Before, like when the day opened on Apple, we were in full time frame continuity up. When it's gray, there is a lack of clarity, I guess you could call it. There is a mixed bag. Some candles are green, some are red. So this is a very, very quick and easy way of visualizing full time frame continuity directly on the candles. That's pretty nice. There is a secondary way to do this. Let me grab this back. Hold up. And we could adjust these time frames as well, so that's pretty fun. But I'm not a huge Strat guy. I know some of the basics. Maybe you could tell me if there are specific other time frames that might be more powerful and more meaningful for you. But for day traders, we're kind of of the understanding that like it's the main time frame that you're trading, and then the 30, the hourly, the daily. I guess you could make it the 4-hour if you wanted to. It's up to you. But pretty cool. And before the best way that we could do this was with the checklist. I don't know if you ever played around with the full time frame continuity with just the checklist. The smart checklist. So this was a way of seeing full time frame continuity directly within the checklist. You could define whatever you wanted to define. In this case, I'm looking for, this is small time frame. So this is green on the 1 minute, the 5 minute, the 10 minute, the 30 minute, and they're all red right now, right? So I know that this thing is not in continuity. But that's kind of the general idea. We wanted to take and expand upon what we could already do. So here we are building full time frame continuity directly on the candles, which is pretty sweet to be able to just instantly visualize that if that's something that you're into. Big fan of Brian Shannon. He's a great guy. Like Brian Shannon a lot. He's a avid outdoorsman. He lives relatively close to me, so gotten to hang out with him a couple of times. Smart dude. And the anchored VWAPs, obviously, everybody is using anchored VWAPs these days. They are wildly powerful little indicators. Lots of stuff you can do with them on the platform too, really, between scanning and testing and alerting and stuff, and just being able to easily see where price is relative to all the important ones. Matt Jr., what's up? QQQ, NASDAQ bullish week ahead, inflation cool, GDP positive, Friday Fed rate cut news? You think so? No. Broadening formation tools, come on, why not? Of course. Chart patterns. broadening, ascending, asymmetrical, descending, right angled, and ascending, and symmetrical. So lots of broadening pattern tools. But better than that, dude, or dudette, I don't know. So here's a couple of broadening patterns on being formed on Apple right now. You can see them. Wish you were a genius. Well, honestly, the assistant might be your friend here. Like if you type in broadening into the assistant, look what comes up. It comes up with stuff that you might need to know. Now, right here, it's just like editing and removing. That's kind of boring. If we go to the strategy tester and type in broadening, though, check this out. Broadening formation, any broadening form pattern exists. Broadening exists any enforce. Broadening exists ascending, asymmetrical. So this is letting, these are pre-built scans to find just simple broadening patterns. And then we have additional broadening. Well, maybe they're not in here. All right. So what we could also do though, is we could define, like, let's say we want to look for broadening ascending. I don't know. Or I don't know what you might look for. Let's look for symmetrical specifically. See if any symmetrical broadening patterns exist. All right. So here's our symmetrical patterns. Let me just turn these all off. So we're just looking at one thing. So here's your symmetrical pattern. Here's all the names that have symmetrical patterns. I'm going to zoom out a little. I'm going to turn this off. So, right, so we can very quickly see all of those patterns. But then if we wanted to, we could save, make a copy of this, right? So we'll just make our own copy. And then what if we wanted to define where price was relative to the broadening pattern itself? Like we could say price daily within range of chart pattern daily broadening top or bottom. So you can define where price is relative to the range, to the broadening pattern itself. And this is possible with all of these chart patterns, be it your head and shoulders patterns, your double top, double bottom, triangles, all that sort of stuff. You can define where price is relative to the lines that comprise the pattern, or to the trend lines that comprise the pattern. So let's just say, for example, I want to look for specifically broadening symmetrical patterns where price is within range of the bottom of the broadening pattern. I can define the percentage amount that I want price to be within the range of that line and rerun the scan, and probably going to find some quite different results here. Let's see what comes up. So if you're looking for those potential expanding, or like, what do you guys call it? You call it, let me try and remember. Shoot. When price gets to the top or the bottom of the broadening range, you call it, what do you call it? What's the word that I'm looking for? Exhaustion risk. That's what you call it. So you can kind of find stuff at that exhaustion risk. You could find stuff that's mid pattern. You know, you could define less than the upper line by X, greater than the upper, or greater than the lower line by X. You could define price maybe in the middle or something. Oh, looks like nothing was found. Interesting. Okay, let's give this a little bit wider of a percentage. Man, indexes are selling today. Everybody's all bulled up. Now the indexes are selling off. I guess that's probably par for the course, isn't it? Scanner working relatively slowly too. Anywho, you see what I'm getting at here, why not? You see where I'm going with this. Pretty sweet, pretty powerful. I'm going to alert the team to the scanner acting quite slowly. Yeah, there's a few more of you guys here. Thank you for being here. If you haven't said hello yet, please do say hello. I would love to get to know you. And, you know, answer any questions that you might have. So this is another interesting point. Why not? Like, we have defined that price is within range of the bottom of the pattern, but we haven't defined that it's above or below it. So we could, in theory, if we wanted to, we could take this a whole other step, right? Like we could say something like, well, let's say, actually, let's do it with this. We could say price close greater than chart pattern, daily, broadening symmetrical bottom. So now we are within range of the bottom, but we're also trading above it, right? So that's the difference between what's happening at CVX and what's happening at Jacobs. Here, Jacobs obviously trading below. If we wanted to, though, we could also define that this is not true, that it's less than the chart pattern, right? The broadening symmetrical bottom. So it's less than, but then in a separate condition group, if we wanted to, we could say that price was below it, or rather above it previously. So we could like define that break essentially. Or shoot, I mean, you could even do this. There's lots of different ways that you could think about this. I'm gonna write it here. We're not gonna go searching for this, but you know, you could say like price close greater than the bottom one candle ago, and price close less than, oops, wrong thing, less than chart pattern daily bottom, right? So if we were just looking for this, one candle ago price closed greater than the bottom. Right now it closed less than the bottom. So we've just broken below the bottom of the broadening pattern. So what is that? That's exhaustion risk, right? Or the break above the top of it is also exhaustion risk. So you could just like instantly find these things. The chart patterns really make finding setups quite more efficient. I find them to be very, very helpful, especially if you could just kind of slightly think out of the box a little bit. I'm going to go to a bigger list here. Maybe we can find something, since there were only two that were meeting this criteria in the 500. All right, let's see what NXPL. Yeah, so here you go. I mean, do you want to trade this? Probably not, but this is what you got. You closed above it one candle ago, and now we're breaking below it on the current candle. It's not super, super clean, not as clean as, you know, maybe some strat traders would want to see, but it is doing the thing that y'all are looking for. Now, I don't think, and I could be wrong, but I don't think that TradingView does that. I don't think TradingView has that capability. So just that in and of itself, if that's the type of thing that you like to trade, maybe you like to trade exhaustion risk, this is a very quick and easy way. And of course, you know, maybe let's go to a different time frame. Clearly the hourly is yielding nothing. Not many names meeting this criteria. And honestly, not a huge surprise. Market's been extremely bullish. What we should be looking for, if we think about this a little bit more deeply, what we should be looking for is we should be looking for breaks to the upside, right? You should be looking for the move up and out of the top of the range. So maybe I should flip my idea here. Ooh, my music just stopped. Okay, let me get this thing going real quick. Okay. So maybe that's what we should be looking for. I'm going to try that because I want to know. I want to know if there's anything out there. So we're going to say price close less than chart pattern daily top. And then price close. Actually, well, no, we'll say price close greater than. No. Yes, yes, yes. Y'all, I'm thinking in real time here. Top. And sometimes when I'm thinking in real time, I move a little bit more slowly. That's all right. All right, so let's see if there's anything out there that's doing this right now. 10 of you here, 3 likes. Why are there not 7 more likes? Also, let's talk about this real quick. I want to keep doing these. Here you go. That's pretty. Exhaustion risk, right? I want to keep doing these. I plan to keep doing these, but the way that we really get to do more of these and more often is by y'all subscribing to the channel and liking these videos. That is key performance metrics for me. That lets my team know that you guys enjoy this and y'all want me to do it more often. So please hit me with likes. Hit me with channel subs. Means a ton to me personally. And also it helps me a lot. Where should one start to learn to use TrendSpider? Website, YouTube tutorials? All right, so yes, and yes. We have, let me find it. I'm just searching something really quick for you. We have the TrendSpider University. That's found right here. So this is a great place to start. This is, you know, basic breakdowns of how to do all kinds of different things on the platform via short video tutorials, right? The assistant was designed to help you understand how to navigate the platform. And you can do all kinds of things with the assistant. I'm talking about like very simple things. I want to add a VWAP to my chart. Type in VWAP and add volume weighted average price to your charts, right? So you can do things like adding indicators to your chart. If you wanted to see, I don't know, Tesla unusual options, type in Tesla unusual options into the assistant. First thing that comes up is see all unusual options for Tesla. Oh. Look at what comes up. Here's all of Tesla's unusual options in order. Top 250. If you want to, I don't know, test MACD cross on this name that I'm looking at. Maybe you like the exhaustion risk on it. Maybe you want to trade at MACD cross also. Test MACD cross strategy. It automatically builds that strategy for you and runs the test on that particular name that fast. So very quickly, you see you can perform a pretty extensive, thank you for the extra likes, guys. You can perform a pretty extensive amount of things. What's the word I'm looking for? Actions via the assistant. Yes, I absolutely believe that we will. I mean, that is the wave, right? Like if you're not building AI into your tools, if you have a website and you're not building AI into it, you're going to get left behind. I think that the functionality as far as AI is concerned is only going to increase on the platform. But for right now, you have the assistant, which is really helpful with, you know, kind of showing you around the platform. But then you also, and I wasn't utilizing it because there are limitations, but we have GPT conditions. So if you wanted to define like simple price conditions or price relative to an indicator or something like that, like you can say, like if you wanted to say today's high is greater than yesterday's high, or maybe today's close is greater than yesterday's close or something like that. Like you could say close greater than yesterday close. Now it's on the, I did this in the strategy tester. It's set to the 5 minute. So you got to give me a little leeway here. So it builds that for you. And then I just have to define the candle ago. It won't automatically define the candle ago for you, but it'll build the script for you. You can say something like, again, like MACD cross, and it'll build the script for you. This works for price conditions and indicator conditions. It works for the strat too. You could say things like the strat is to you. Brian Pike, what's up, man? And it creates that condition for you. So any indicator, any any price condition you can automatically script with ChatGPT. And, you know, like you say, and like I think it will absolutely, that functionality will grow in time. What it becomes in the future, that's hard to say. I don't know. But I do believe that will happen. 9 likes, 10 viewers? Hey, now we're talking. Thank you, guys. Brian, how are you doing today? Yeah, maybe one day we'll have a beer dispenser. They just... there's going to be... This is kind of funny. We just launched... Or I guess we haven't released it yet. But our head developer was, I think, bored the other day. And he made an indicator... Going with TrendSpider. There you go. Why not? All right. That's what I'm talking about, man. I hope that it serves you as well as it served me over the years. You know, like I say, there are pros and cons across the board. I think that as far as functionality is concerned, what you can do with TrendSpider totally trumps what you can do with TradingView. Just functionally, you know, like the amount of tools that are available to you. I strongly, strongly recommend a couple of things. Why not? First off, all right, so we are celebrating as is it this way? No, it's this way. I always get this wrong. I'm always mixed up, the mirroring. Up to 82% off for Cyber Monday, which is going at least until Thursday. That's what I know. But the Cyber Monday deal is a little bit different than the Black Friday deal that we have had running for the past couple of weeks. Black Friday deal, you had some options to get some pretty good savings. We have tightened up those options a little bit. So right now, the best deal that you're going to get is by prepaying for a year. That's going to be the best way to get the savings. Here is your yearly prepay price and this is where I always recommend folks, because you can upgrade later if you wanted to. I always recommend start on Elite. Elite Plus is great if you are like full on day trader all day. You've got charts, you've got multiple screens, and you're like, you know, you're trading 10 different names at once. Then perhaps you want Elite Plus. Just because it just can do a lot more, you know, way more alerts available for you. Those alerts live longer. You can have multiple, like quite more workspaces, 8 workspaces, unlimited scan results. I encourage you to take some time and read through like what's available here. But the yearly prepay is the way to go to get the offer. $296.40 for a year of Elite. That's 69% off. Pretty darn good. If you want to take the step up and pay the $388, by all means, you'll get that full 82% off. You'll have like full access to everything. And you may decide that these trading bots are for you. You know, the trading bot mentality has been a slow burn. There are people who absolutely love and subscribe to the idea of, let this strategy work for me. You know, I don't want to trade it. I want to build a strategy and then implement it. And I commend all of those people. It's a great way to keep your emotions and stuff out of the process. If you can build successful strategies, you know, it's not super, super hard to do. It is hard to know when to implement them and when to pull them and how to flip through different strategies. Everybody that I know that utilizes trading bots, they are employing and then they're watching as it works. But even if you just want to use trading bots for unlimited signals to just be alerted on and to forward test ideas, they're really, really helpful. And you can instantly, or not instantly, but like it doesn't take much work to build a strategy. I'll just grab something here. This is one that I've talked about a lot because it works pretty darn good. I'm actually making a video about how this strategy was built and how the tools were used to define it. But But I can build a strategy, launch it as a trading bot. I can utilize SMS and email, so send those signals directly to me so that I know when they hit. But then I can also use webhooks, and I can connect webhooks to things like Discord. If I had a Discord room and I wanted to share my signals, I could do that. If I wanted to connect to a brokerage via Signal Stack, I could do that too. And that's actually what I do. Connect my broker to Signal Stack, and it just fires the signals. Signal Stack automatically does the trading for me because the strategy was built. So pretty efficient use. The way that I kind of do this myself is I allocate a small amount of money to this, and I watch it, and I let it do its thing over here. So I have like my day trading that I like to do where I'm trading price action. It's a little bit it's not so defined, right? It's not so specific with its condition. It's more like watching price action, reading price action, and making a decision based off of price action in the moment. So I have one account where I do that, and then I have another where I have these running, and they're just doing their thing in the background. It's fun to kind of watch how the performance changes. The ultimate goal is to just get to the point where you just have bots. That's the ultimate goal for me. Like I love to day trade, but also it's stressful. So if I could just build strategies out and employ them where I need them, that to me is the way to go. Year prepaid on Elite sounds great. We'll upgrade once my knowledge can utilize it. Special ends tomorrow. That is, as I understand it, that's what I know to be true. If that changes, these guys on the marketing team, my colleagues, they are full of tricks. So perhaps something will change. The best deal that you could have gotten has come and gone with Black Friday. So now we are at the next best deal that you're going to be able to get. If it continues on, I imagine the deal itself will kind of slightly diminish a little bit. So yeah, I would say that your best bet is going to be now. That's just me. Fadumo, www. What does that mean? But thumbs up to you also. Any hope of more favorites for time frames like TradingView? Definitely not a day trader, short time swing trader use case, but there's only 5 faves on TrendSpider. That's a great question. I don't know. I know that it's been requested that we offer both more favorite time frames and the ability to create unique time frames. Some people want to trade the 14-minute. I don't know why you would, but that's, some people want to do that. They break it down by fractals, and they've determined, hey, the 76-minute time frame is actually really powerful. Cool. If there's alpha there, awesome. Whether or not that will come, I cannot say. I would suspect that it will eventually. I just don't know the importance of it. Right now we are a small team. We've been a small team a long time. So we have to iterate based off of what is most important at any given time. That being said, right down here, click the contact us button. I share this every single time I'm live. These guys do not get the love that they deserve. Perhaps I'm partial. I was on this team for a year and a half. But truly, this is another, you talk about differences between us and TradingView. This, in and of itself, is so valuable, in my opinion. And maybe you guys don't think it's as valuable as I think it is. But this is freaking valuable. This is live support every single day, Monday through Sunday, by product experts who can help you understand how to do things on the platform. If you can't find something, if you can't figure out how to script something, if you're having trouble understanding what something means, you can ask these guys these questions and they can answer them for you. Now, sometimes we're busier than other times. Sometimes somebody's going to respond to you instantaneously. Sometimes it's going to take an hour, but they're always around pretty much. It's 20 hours during the week. I think it's 8 hours on the weekends, which is, it's quite more than you would think. It's free. They're always available to you. So plenty of support for newbies learning the platform. Yes, exactly. Why not? They're great dudes on this team. Strongly recommend utilizing them, taking advantage of their skills and their knowledge. It's free. They're there to help you. So take advantage of it. And then, you know me, I'm live as often as I can be. Again, like I said, more likes, more subscribes means more live streams for me to do things like this and walk you through stuff. What's up, Cracked? What's up? Hope you're well. Yeah, I really like doing these too. Like for me, like I said, I started out on the support team. I loved being able to help people understand how to do things. Last time we were here was there was a fella who didn't know how to script. It was like looking for specific, wanted to build a scan based off of kind of a really unique indicator. And, you know, it took us a little bit to figure it out, but we figured it out. And now he has that scan. Now he can find exactly what he's looking for in real time. And, you know, we're all better for it. Awesome, man. Well, why not? I appreciate that very much. I appreciate the love. And like I say, I really do enjoy doing these a lot. I find it to be maybe the most pleasant thing that I do with my days. Just because, you know, nothing better than getting to kind of help somebody understand how to find what they're looking for or whatever it may be. You know, we're all trying to do the same thing, right? We're all trying to prosper from what's going on in the markets. There are a zillion ways to do it. We all have our own way. And what we're trying to build is a product that helps everybody find everything that they're looking for, no matter what they happen to be looking for. So that is the idea. Anyway, that's a little bit of a tangent for me, but we really appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you guys tuning in. I appreciate you guys asking questions. And yeah, feel free to always hit me up anytime you want. Here's my Twitter handle. I'm an open book. My DMs are open. If you're having trouble getting a hold of somebody on the success team, maybe they don't give you the answer that you're looking for. Maybe you need, you know, something more. Hit me up. Let me know. Totally understand, BD. I mean, there are a lot of people that actually do both, that have both. Like TradingView has the ability to, you can import or you can buy other data feeds. That's really helpful, right? We have our data feed that we utilize. Comes from the NYSE. It's a great data feed, but it's one data feed, right? And you can buy these other data feeds. I think we're going to bring that too. We've been talking about that for quite a while, or I've been hearing rumors of that coming for quite a while. I don't know when it'll come, but I think it will come, where you can boutique off the shelf buy little things to help you, you know, whatever that might be. This data feed for this market, or that data feed, or whatever it might be. So there are certainly reasons to potentially use both. You know, it's not uncommon for folks to utilize lots of different tools in their trading. You got scanners, you know, things like FinViz, that sort of stuff for scanning. That makes sense. Like historically, people use a lot of tools. You got unusual options tools, unusual whales, or cheddar flow, or whatever it might be that you might utilize. Fundamental data, right? Like there is quite a bit of fundamental data here between insiders and seasonality and analyst estimates, and news. Like there are fundamental data tools, but if you need, like, I don't know what you might need, because I don't pay any attention to fundamentals, but you might need to know like deep in the books stuff about a company. And you know, we have some of that stuff, like we have earnings information, but you know, if you need to know forward PE ratios or whatever, you might need to buy another tool. So it's not uncommon for people who utilize TrendSpider to potentially have another one. But our goal here is to be as much of an all-in-one type of tool, because there's kind of nothing worse than you're in the middle of a trade, or you're in the middle of a trading day and you're flipping between a bunch of different tabs. You're looking for chart patterns over here and you're looking for this over there, and you're getting unusual options pings over there. And you know, it seems like a little bit counterintuitive to be all over the place. So that's really what we're trying to build. That's really what it's all about, is like a single dashboard for everything that you might need. Chewy. What's up, Chewy? Hey, Chewy. You hit me up yesterday. You wanted to talk about using the performance chart and using Price Behavior Explorer. No? If so, let's talk about it. I can use this strategy since I'm very, very keen on how this strategy works. We can rebuild it. And I hope that's okay. If anybody's seen this before, I don't mean to bore you, but I also like to, you know, like I developed a workflow with this particular strategy. So I can talk through the tools very easily. I know what's going to happen. I know the performance of everything. So if you want to, I can spend some time. We could do that. But only if you want to. I don't want to bore anybody with stuff that they've seen before. But I know, Chewy, I know that you had mentioned, I think it was you. I think you had mentioned that you wanted to see how those tools are used to kind of understand what's going on with your strategy. I do find that a lot of people don't know how to use them. But it's not really that hard. And there's really only a couple things that you need. Like there's more data in there than even you need. At least I found that to be true. I found that there's more data in there than is necessary for me personally. But you might find something else. Looking for clarification on how to read the BBKC squeeze, like the indicator itself. Let me see here, this guy. So what I would do with this is I don't use this indicator ever. But what I do know to be true, right? BBKC is TTM. We just can't use TTM because it's trademarked. So whenever I'm trying to understand how an indicator works, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up its component parts. So we're going to learn together here because I actually don't know. But I've got Bollinger Bands. And I'm going to turn off everything else. Give me 1 sec. Because I just want to focus on this. All right, and I'm also going to change the colors here. This is just too dark for my black screen. So I want to make sure that we can see everything clearly. So we've got Bollinger Bands, and we've got Keltner channels, right? That's what BB and KC are. So the first thing is the dots. Are we in a squeeze or are we not in a squeeze? Well, what is a squeeze? A squeeze, I believe, a squeeze is firing, so green, when your Bollinger Band, your Keltner channel is inside your Bollinger Band. So we can kind of see that pretty clearly, right? Here's your cross. Here's your crossover, and so the squeeze fires. You can kind of see where that happens. Now, as far as these bars, they appear to me to be very much indicative of uptrend, downtrend, right? When the trend reverses and we're in a downtrend, then these bars are below. The steeper the downtrend, the more the bars push. So this might be price outside of the Bollinger Band, because you see how steep this gets and you have multiple days trading below the Bollinger Band here too. But the other thought, let me check this. So I'm going to go, actually, we'll go here. Up in the question mark, go to read docs and knowledge base, and then type in, let's see if anything comes up here. I don't know. All right. Indicator definitions. BBKC squeeze. Bollinger Band. I see a typo. The Bollinger Band Keltner channel squeeze helps you identify breakout opportunities when both the upper and lower Bollinger Bands fit within the Keltner channel. When the Bollinger Bands start to come out of the Keltner channel, the squeeze is released and a move could take place. All right. So that's kind of pretty much what we determined by throwing those indicators up on the chart. And this is that's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking these bars, the positive and negative bars, relate to where price is relative to the Bollinger Band. Well, I might have to ask about this to find out for sure. It's definitely uptrend, downtrend. But I wonder if it has to do with where price is relative to the Bollinger Band. I will tell you, Loxley, this is a fantastic question for these guys. Because these guys can go, can go ask directly too. Let me... I don't think there's any other documentation about this. I'd really love to be able to define more specifically what these bars are about. The dots are definitely the squeeze and the squeeze firing. So that is related to where the Bollinger Bands are relative to the Keltner channel. Keltner channel, Bollinger Bands are inside the Keltner channel when the dots are red. Bollinger Bands are outside the Keltner channel when the dots are green. That's absolutely the case. But these bars, I wonder if it's like a momentum, because you get this really strong push, reversal push. You have a big gap up, you're outside of the Bollinger Bands, and you have this expansion of these bars. So momentum is strong. But then as you're pushing higher and you're pushing into, and even there are times when you're getting outside of the upper Bollinger Band, yet momentum is declining. So I think that these are, this is a momentum signal. So you would be wanting to define the momentum. Let's do this. So when I go here, interesting. So I can only define, okay. So in the scanner, I can only define whether we are in a squeeze or not. Okay, but the signal line, I have to assume is this guy. So you can say crossed, right? You could say signal line, let's see, crossed up on a constant level of 0. Let me see what we find when we do this. Another way to understand how indicators work is to do what I'm doing here. Run scans and see what comes up when you define things certain ways. So the signal line presumably is this blue and orange line. Signal above 0, signal below 0, signal equals a constant value of X, a negative value, a positive value. Now, how that signal line, interesting. Okay, so let's try a slightly bigger list. That was just the Dow Jones 30. Yeah, okay, here we go. And let me go to the daily. All right, yeah, so here's, well, it's not really what we were looking for. Okay, so looks like signal crossing up on a constant level of 0 is defining the dot flip, right? Because all of these are going from red to green. So that is your squeeze to not squeeze. And then let's say indicator daily squeeze. Let's see, squeeze crossed up on a constant level of 0. Yeah, okay, so see what we're getting here now? You're still in a squeeze. That's kind of interesting and also maybe a little bit confusing. But this is what you're getting. You're getting the move from below those horizontal bars, or vertical bars, rather. You're getting the move from below to above, so crossing the 0 line. That's kind of a little confusing. I almost feel like signal should be like this should be titled signal and the other one should be titled squeeze. I might have to make a mention of that. But so there is your answer. So then the dots, well, yeah, see, this is why I think it should be opposite of that. The dots are, the color of the dot is signaling that you're in a squeeze. However, the squeeze definition is signaling that the histogram is flipped. That seems a little confusing to me. I'm going to ask about that and see if there's like real reasoning behind that. And maybe I'm explaining it wrong. That's absolutely possible that I'm explaining it wrong. And if I am, I'm sorry. But very clearly, that's what these items are defining. So let's say you're looking for, I don't know, what would you potentially be looking for in a squeeze scenario, Loxley? Maybe is the better question. Like, instead of whether or not these are labeled right or wrong, let's talk about what you're looking for. Are you looking for that flip? Are you looking for the squeeze setting up? Are you looking for the squeeze firing? You looking for, I don't know, you're looking for the histogram, a certain histogram value? The thing that seems like is going to be tricky, 0 DTD option strategy to time the move. Got it. So I can't include any sort of options stuff in this scan, but how would you time the move? I guess. What would you normally be looking for to say, oh, it's time? And if you want to, you can give me like a chart and a time frame, and we can look at it. We can look at specifically something that you're actually looking at. Because presumably, like, you could do, I don't know, you could do something like this. You say, so squeeze is like, I don't know, greater than a constant value of 4. I don't know exactly what's going to come up. And let's go to the daily here. So this tells you, like, you're in these, I don't want to say like overbought, but it's kind of, that's kind of what it is. Doesn't mean you won't continue higher, but you know, if you're, well, also though, these values are pretty wide. Okay. So that's something to keep in mind, that the values over here on this side are relative to each asset. So let's say maybe 20. I don't really know what we're going to find here. But that's how you're doing it. That's how you're defining. So you're using this comma squeeze to define the histogram bars. You can define it greater than a constant value, less than a constant value, crossed up on 0, crossed down on 0, right? And then you're using signal to define the dot. So signal crossing up, let's say signal crossing up on 0 means we might not get anything here. Signal crossing up on 0 means squeeze firing. Means Bollinger Bands leaving the Keltner channel. Signal crossing down on 0 means squeeze initiating. Going from we were expanding, now we're going back into a squeeze. You could also, though, if you wanted to, check this out. You could say something like, I don't know if it, for your timing, you could say something like signal less than a constant value of 0, and then you could like duplicate it quite a bit. And so essentially I'm just defining that we've been in a squeeze for a while, right? For 8 candles. So here's 8 candles of a squeeze. I don't know if there would be any alpha in trying to define like strategy testing this, saying we've been in a squeeze for X amount of candles. Maybe we're going to break out of that squeeze soon. You could play around with it. That'd be something interesting to see if it in the idea that you're trying to like time some sort of breakout. I wonder. Yeah, I don't know. Does that help you? Does that kind of get you where you're trying to go with it? If it doesn't, just let me know. If there are further questions that you have, let me know. And I can speak with the team and see if there's any more insight I can glean from them. I wonder if also okay, so let's see here. This is kind of interesting. Here's this. And I have to assume that this indicator was built off of something like this. So let's see what it says. Actually, I'll just share this. This is from TD Ameritrade's website. Yeah, so this is kind of what I thought. This is kind of like a momentum. These horizontal, or rather these vertical, the histogram bars are momentum bars. So I would assume what you're kind of looking for here is kind of the same thing as like what you would look for with RSI divergence. Yeah, why not? One thing at a time, man. One thing at a time. Perhaps, and I'm not saying that this is true. I'm suggesting that this might be a way to think about it. You're seeing divergence in momentum. Like when you're making new highs, you want RSI to be making new highs. You don't want divergence. You want all the indicators that you use, whether it's a momentum or strength or whatever, you want them to be flashing the same signal as you're making those new highs. It's making higher lows and it's making higher lows in momentum, but then the highs, it's making lower highs, right? You got a high, you have a higher high, and yet we're making lower highs in momentum. So as price is making new highs, momentum is downshifting. So this could be used as like, right? You have divergence there. So that divergence can kind of tell you a little something. You could, if you wanted to, you could script this. You could define it. It's got to be a little loose, but, you know, in theory, you could say things like, I don't know, price high, greater than price high 20 candles ago. I doubt we're going to find anything, but because this is very specific. And then you could say like, squeeze is less than indicator daily squeeze 20 candles ago. Let's just see. This is so specific, so we might not find anything. I'm going to make the list bigger. Oh, we found a lot of things. All right, but I want them both to be... Yeah, so I mean, I guess this is kind of a decent example, right? You've got new highs being made. You've got momentum kind of dying as those new highs are being made. You kind of see it here too. You have new highs with momentum kind of dying. Similar look. Again, this is very specific. We're just looking at the current candle and 20 candles ago. You know, you would, if you were looking for, whenever you're looking for setups like this, specifically divergence, it can get tricky. Actually, though, but what we could do is we could change this to happen within. There we go. And we could say 10 candles or 20 candles or whatever. And now it's not just looking at one specific, or rather two specific candles, this one and this one. It's looking at like this range, 1 and 20, but then over the course of the past 10. So it gives you a little bit more, you know, flexibility there. Loxley, does that help you? Did we get you to where you get it and you feel like you know how to use it now and know how to read it? I learned a thing or two myself. It's kind of the cool thing about doing these is like, if you guys weren't asking me these questions, I probably wouldn't be tooling around with these particular indicators. But this is a good rule of thumb. Just kind of just generally speaking, if you're playing around with a particular indicator that you're not super familiar with, open up the indicator. Look at the component parts of it. You know that we're talking about Bollinger Bands and Keltner channels. So then throw up the Bollinger Bands and Keltner channels on the chart and see how what they're doing affects what you're seeing on the lower. It's possible. Maybe slight difference in UI/way to see momentum change in cross of ADX DI. Possible. That I don't know. I really don't know. There have to be 101 TTM squeeze indicators out there that utilize slightly different factors, slightly different components. I mean, even if it's so much as like the values that you're using here, the length of your moving averages for your Bollinger Bands, for your Keltner channels, the source, the price source. Are they using closes? Are they using highs? I don't know. You know, like you got to keep in mind all of that stuff when comparing indicators with one another. But that is the general idea here behind that BBKC squeeze. So is that helpful? Are we good, Loxley? I want to make sure that you're good. I don't want to walk away from this until I know that you got what you needed. And then I want to go back to Chewy. Chewy, can you confirm with me that you were wanting to play around with the Strat tester? That you wanted to kind of see how to use the Price Behavior Explorer and the performance chart? If so, we could take 10 and do that. Chewy, what's up? Are you here still? And Loxley, are we good? If I don't hear from you, Loxley, I'm going to assume we're good and move on. But also, Chewy, if I don't hear from you, then I'm going to assume that I'm just wrong. And I'm going to open the floor to any other questions. We are at an hour here. So generally about at an hour, I like to say, you know, I'm here as long as you guys need me. And I'm happy to answer any more questions that you have. But if you don't have any more questions, then I'm going to continue on with the remainder of my day and get some other things completed. But this is objective number one. This is the most important thing to me right now. So I want to make sure that you guys get what you need. If we've gotten what we need, just let me know. Looks like while we wait, index is starting to bounce. QQQ filled the little gap. SPY as well. A great opportunity to take a quick little long. Hopefully some of you caught that. I'm kind of curious. What's going on with the dollar right now? Interesting. It's pretty ugly. Any other questions, guys? There's a handful of y'all in here. I'm going to kind of put a little 5 minute warning. If no more questions, not a big deal, but do let me know. Any tickers that you want to look at? What's up with Tesla? I know everybody was talking Tesla yesterday. Ooh, man. Wow, crazy. This is like the mother of all trend lines, huh? That's pretty wild. And then what? GME, folks are talking about GameStop too. Wow, look at this move. Holy moly. What does volume look like today? Definitely quite a bit of volume. More volume today than all day yesterday. And we're only like two and a half hours into the session. 3 hours into the session. Interesting. Haven't seen this much volume since what, June? Turn these guys off because they are some loud indicators. Is there something to this move, you guys think? Fair value gap. How many ICT traders in the house right now? Because it's a nice little fair value gap that they just filled, isn't it? If we go down to a daily, I guess they filled it. Really, they've kind of been filling it. I guess if we zoom out a little bit more, it's really all about that. Wow, look at that. Perfect. Holy moly. That's pretty interesting. This thing is, what is this? This is up how much? Past 2 days. 42% in 2 days? What? GME, what the heck is going on? Let's see if there's anything we can glean from seasonality here. Since 2002, not much. Pretty boring. 55% win rate this month. Next month gets pretty lousy. Gets even worse in January, which is kind of surprising. Maybe. Holidays, video games. I don't know. They seem to go hand in hand. If you manage to grab this move, good on you. That is wild. What's your fibs looking like? 50% fib retrace from those highs at 1976. That'd be a logical place. Take out any bear or any shorts up here. All right, I haven't heard from anybody. Meme rug pull season coming. I don't know. Yeah, this is pretty interesting. It's a big move, man. It's a really big move. We could test it. Let's see. Low. One candle ago. By at least 40%. Let's look out 30 days. Now, it's not going to take this position yet. Essentially, I'm just looking for instances where we close 40% higher. That doesn't mean we're going to close there today, but technically speaking, right now, as of right now, we're 41.54% above yesterday's low. Okay. So, price close today greater than price low yesterday by 40%. Exiting 30 candles later. Interesting. 6 times in history, 17% win rate. Looking 30 days out. I mean, it's certainly possible that this thing could have legs. What is this move? That move in 4 days was 36%, so we've already trumped that. Huh. Wow. What's up, James? If that's the James I think it is, James runs our customer success team. So he knows his stuff. He can certainly help you. Average win 174%. Wow. But max drawdown 89% over that period of time. So like this could don't take a long based off of this strategy. I just like to look to know. So really. So you had a move like that here. We get into the position and it goes against us. Had a move like that here. We get into the position. It goes against us. We had a move like that here. We get into a position. Ultimately, doesn't work out. Cool. Yeah. No problem. I mean, so the things to know about anchored VWAP outside of like how to trade them, I'm not going to tell you how to do that, but not because I don't. Well, what's the right way to say it? I'm not going to tell you the right way to utilize anchored VWAPs. I'm going to tell you that there are lots of different ways that you can utilize them. So depending on the ticker symbol that you're looking at and depending on your time frame, that's really important. Understand how long are you going to be in this trade? That should impact where you're drawing your anchored VWAPs from. There are different ways to create anchored VWAPs on the platform. You can right click on candles and say create anchored VWAP from that particular candle. That's kind of the fastest, most efficient way if you know exactly where you want to anchor from. If you don't know where exactly you want to anchor from, then it makes sense to utilize the anchored VWAP indicator. They're both indicators. They're both the same thing, but this allows me to define what I'm anchoring to. So I can anchor to a highest volume candle, a highest high, a lowest low, a blue raindrop, a recent gap, and then day, week, month, quarter, year to date. So for all of these, the day, week, month, quarter, year to date, these are all going to jump based off of the time frame you select. If you select day to date, every single day, it's going to re-anchor. You're only going to be able to see it intraday, and it's going to re-anchor every single day to the start of that new day, right? If you select week to date, it's going to re-anchor every Monday. If you select month to date, it's going to re-anchor every first of the month, right? And that's just how those auto anchors work. There are no, I can't give you a suggestion as to what's best to do. Sometimes what I like to do is anchor to the previous day, which I wish that I could define that, where it auto anchors to the previous day. I could define like X candles ago. That would be pretty cool. I can't do that. So instead, I just do it manually. I use these guys. So I go intraday and I just anchor here. And that gives me a bit of the same way that I would use the per session volume by price to make those determinations. It's the same idea. Like I'm looking for untested stuff. looking for untested points of control, untested VWAPs from previous sessions. You can see today's low on coin here. It was yesterday's anchored VWAP. That's why I use it. That's why I look at it. But it doesn't work every time, but that's why I think that way. The other thing that you need to know is that for, oops, not that. Where is it? This guy. Yeah. So for highest volume, highest high, lowest low, blue raindrop, recent gap, there's always the question of, well, how do we determine the highest high? It's relative per the time frame, isn't it? It is. So then you have this window option, and the window is how you define highest high. Window is, I believe, preset to 20, I believe. I like to use bigger windows, but what the window is, I think you can use up to 250. Let me zoom out. Yeah, so there's no extremis given, and that makes sense. The reason why that makes sense is the window is defining a candle range around the highest high. It's saying that if your window is 250, it's saying that there are 125 candles over here and 125 candles over here, and your highest high is right here. Those 125 candles on either side define the highest high as what it is, right? Like that logically makes sense. You have 125 candles over here that don't have a higher high. You have 125 candles over here that don't have a higher high. And so therefore this one is the highest high. So if you want just a shorter term, well, actually, let's go back and say when it says no extremis given for that highest high, the reason why is because there is wherever the highest high is, that has 125 candles to the right. There isn't 125 candles to the left. There isn't 125 to the right. It looks like it did define it. So it defined it as this one. So this is the highest high that also has 125 candles to the right and 125 candles to the left that define it as such. Subsequent higher highs get new highs before 125 candles print to the right, right? Does that make sense? So why is this one printing as the one as the highest high with a 250 candle window? It's because subsequent highs don't have 125 candles to the right before a new high is made. So there are not 125 candles in this direction before this high is made, and continuing on. So if you are using the bigger the window period, the more it makes sense that you're kind of zooming out, right? Because it just kind of makes logical sense. You'd be zooming out with bigger candle windows. So that's how those windows work. And those windows are applicable to the highest high, the highest volume, the lowest low, the blue raindrop, and the recent gap, because that's what makes sense. Actually, the recent gap, it's not applicable to recent gap. I take that back. I'm sorry. It's applicable, though, to blue raindrop, lowest low, highest high, highest volume, because we don't have any other way to discern what the highest high is without defining everything around it, the candles around it that make it the highest high. So hopefully that's helpful for you when you're thinking about how to utilize these. And with that, I think I might get out of here. We've been at this for almost an hour and a half. Any other questions? Real quick. Last call for questions. Do you have them? If you have them, now's the time. If you don't have them, it's all good. This has been a productive session. Yeah, why not? No problem at all. Glad to help. Glad to help you understand that indicator a little bit further. Lots of different ways that you can use it. Keep that in mind. But any other questions from you guys? If not, I'm going to jump. And we will be back at this probably on Friday. I was also kind of thinking about maybe doing one of these Saturday morning. I don't know if that's something. I mean, you guys are here right now. So, like, y'all are a hard bunch to gauge and see if we might get more, if we might have more value in doing this, like, on a weekend when everybody is available. Or even like after hours, you know, like once the market closes, that's an option too. I don't know. I might mix it up, but that's why you guys subscribe to the channel so that you know when I mix it up. You can also follow me on Twitter at Krutzky Trades. I will write that in the chat one more time. Feel free to give me a follow. I usually post on Twitter when I'm going live. I try to post maybe a day before, but sometimes it's an hour before. Just depends on how busy I am. But we will continue doing these because they definitely seem to be productive. Why not? I'm stoked that we were able to get you to the point where you have decided that TrendSpider is the way to go. That is awesome. I feel like I've really done my job then. I hope you guys all have a great rest of your day. It is hump day. So 2 more days after today, 2 more days to trade them well. And again, I will be back. At the very least, I'll be back on Friday around this time. Considering potentially, maybe, possibly doing something this weekend. But uncertain whether or not that's necessary. But I might. We'll see. If you have any questions between now and then, write them down on a scrap of paper. Hit up the team. Contact us button right here, bottom right-hand corner of your platform view. You don't even have to be a TrendSpider trader to contact these guys. They will answer your questions regardless. If you go to just TrendSpider, plain old TrendSpider.com, right, y'all? Same dudes, same functionality. Ask them your questions if you have them. Yeah, I guess that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. And like I said, holler if you need me. You know how to find me. And I'll talk to you guys all again soon. One more thing. Oh, got it. One more thing off your checklist. Got it. Cool. Okay, we'll see you next time. Why not? Thank you for being here. Thank you, BD. Thank you, James. Thank you, Brian. Thank you, Loxley, who I never heard from again. But hopefully you got what you needed. Thank you, Chewy. Chewy, I never heard from you either. I'm disappointed. But hey, we're going to do it again. Fadumo, thank you for being here. Who else? Did I miss anybody? Matt Jr., thank you for being here. Basil, thank you for being here. That's everyone. Okay. I hope you guys have a great day. For the 6th time. And I'll see y'all soon. Adios.